Tell me something about yourself and the very interesting company you have.
Um, I'm a choreographer. It's
Yeah.
very simple. I make
But you are much more. You're also a composer, and
I make the movements and I make the music for my work.
and the films and the
And the
directing.
films and we did this very special film. I'm so happy that you're showing it. It was a very special moment during Corona where we decided to make a film with a young company. So we have two companies. We have a main company that tours around the world, and also a younger company. They're not so young. They're up to 25 years old. Um, and yeah, and it was. I'm a big film lover, and I'm kind of like I have one eye on films, and I want to slowly try to do more films, and it was an amazing opportunity to make a film. With Political Mother. Yeah, I normally make choreography and music for live productions, that are
Yeah.
touring around the world.
But
Yeah, and
you use videos quite a lot in your also the live performances, kind of.
Sometimes, no, sometimes it's not. I kind of have the opinion that you should use whatever works.
Yeah.
I'm shameless like that. It's like that's the beauty of contemporary dance. You can use text. You don't have to use text. It can be abstract. It can be a story. You can have imagery. You can have video. You can have none. So I kind of like during the years just experimented with whatever I felt um, works, whatever feeds the work and make it as powerful as I felt possible. Um, there were some occasions I used projection, but here I just feel that in a way, camera and film is a
Mm-hmm.
completely different medium to theater, to
Sure.
dance in
Sure.
theater. Dance in theater, you're stuck in your seat and it's just one shot, basically, your eyes. The opportunity to take people and put them inside the dance and to put them inside the happening, it's almost like making the audience as one of the company members, as
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
dancers inside, and making them feel how it is to be inside the group of dancers. For me, that's the exciting thing about the film, putting that different angle. I think there is amazing possibilities with filming dance that are not explored yet. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, it's just something I'm really passionate about.
Well, Political Mother. It was made 2010, if I'm not wrong. As one of
Yeah,
the first, as one of the first productions in your company that you founded 2008, I think. Was that
yeah.
Tell something about the name Political Mother. What does it refer to?
For me, the names for pieces, for me, it's like a little key to give to the audience with
Yeah.
a good question mark, something
Yeah.
that make people try to unlock something. So it's not really the answer, but it's a beginning, it's a starting point. And in the end, choosing a title for a piece for me is like falling in love. It's like it either works, or it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with this one. I mean, I can try to analyze it and explain why. And I think it's because, first of all, it was a time where people kept on saying that my work is political because I come from Israel, so everybody is putting the political glasses on, the filter, and I thought, well, I don't think it's political. So I kept on saying my work is not political, but I decided to put the word political in the title just to make it more confusing. I found it amusing. Um, but of course, because of where I'm from, in a way, my filter as well is very political. The
Yeah.
view, the way I see the world, and obviously, this piece is looking at power. It's looking at the way people are following leaders, following power. Questions around freedom and so on. Um, so I enjoyed putting that word inside the title, first of all. Um, but but really, I think the interesting thing for me about the title is there is something very public about it. So political is something we own as a community. And then you have the word mother, which is a very intimate, emotional, it's a connection um, you cannot say no to. It's
Mm-hmm.
just something that is part of you. And I thought there is something interesting about our relationship with our countries, that
Mm-hmm.
sense
Mm-hmm.
of debt that we have to our founding members, to our fathers, and the mother country, and so on. I felt that there is something interesting about the emotional attachment that we might have to our leaders.
I think it's very smart because it's really is a riddle, and you, of course, when I would say especially maybe not that much even in a live space, but in a film you very much look it through the title also, so it's a meaning.
Yeah,
When I watch this video, for me it's very much like break something. I mean, speaking of themes like breaking out, there are people inside and also underground in dark spaces with heavy stone walls, and they're kind of in a kind of womb, like brutal womb in a way,
yeah,
and they
yeah,
want to break out. And then, I mean, if you think of the first picture there with this, that's also a riddle. Somebody in a very dramatic landscape falling to the ground. Let's put it this way.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's a very sad picture and very kind of the first one.
yeah, yeah.
Well, it's about loneliness and it's about emptiness and it's about dying also.
It's about losing hope,
Yeah, yeah,
and well, there are a lot of questions around this first image because it's about becoming one with the world. I mean, yeah, nobody knows what happens when we die, but
yeah.
it's about connecting. There is something, nature is very big there. But for me, also, one of the big questions with this work is how far would someone go to serve their nation, to serve their people. And the idea that people are ready to die,
Yeah.
they're ready to cancel themselves, um, for the sake of a better good. It's a better good that we are educated to
Well,
think that is a better good. But again, I don't proclaim to have any answers. I think I'm walking around this world as
yeah.
confused as anyone. I think the questions are really interesting, and the questions
Well,
about
certainly we live in a time with more questions than answers.
Yeah, I suppose asking questions is the best thing I can do as an artist, is what I feel. And just have people try to figure out their own answers and their own emotions. But in the sense of the locations, because it is very interesting. We worked with the Battersea Art Center here in London, which is a beautiful building. It's really like hundreds of years old, and it's like this building has layers. You can literally see it on the walls. It
Yeah,
has
yeah.
layers and history. Um, for me, it was fascinating also making a film and thinking, I mean, the location is so powerful. Like you say, you have these corridors, you have these stairwells, these places that feel that you can just not get out of. It was amazing for me to just scout around the building, look for locations, look for what can have a dramatic effect and what
Mhm.
can have an emotional effect.
Yeah,
Uh,
certainly it's very strong. I mean, when you watch the video, of course, you cannot know that it's even in the
yeah,
same space. For me, it's
no,
more like these people kind of pop up in different parts of the world on underground. It's a kind of, they move around in the underground, but they are
yeah,
not bound by space because the
yeah,
space changes suddenly.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, political matter is very, very much as well has this idea of different worlds that are parallel to one another. So you
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah,
different,
yeah,
I mean, this is very real in our life as well, in our world.
yeah,
You have
yeah,
different realities, they exist just one next to the other.
yeah.
And the
Well,
tension between these is what's where the emotional power of the work comes. So,
yeah, really interesting. Yeah, you have been coming back to especially this work. So
yeah,
obviously it's a kind of also a key to your work as an artist.
I think so. I think for me, as long as a work feels relevant, then it's still alive. The relationship of the work is between the work and the audience, the people
Hmm.
that see it. And if, as long as it has impact and as long as the questions are valid,
But how?
I
Let
think,
me put it this way: how has it changed? I mean, this would be an interesting question because, of course, when you do it 2010, it's a statement about what's happening then. And when you come back to the same work, and the world has kind of changed around it. How does that affect the work?
First of all, it's either I'm stuck or the world is stuck, you know. But
Yeah.
but
Well,
in all honesty, the work did change a lot. So I think because I decided to do the work for my younger company, and I decided to have a new element in it, which was the animation. So we used to have live music, live musicians, which were part of the theatricality of the thing. And then there is animation, which I was really curious as well to work with a new person. And for me, it's something because you can also see it in the film. It's something that is connected to this generation now, where screens are a big part
mhm,
of
yeah,
the
yeah,
information, the connection with other people happens through this medium, projection and screen. And so it was a really interesting layer upon layer that for the live performance, we had the animation, which is a projection. And then in the film, I decided to keep that element, even that we see people watching screens as a way of communicating, as a way of learning, as a way of following something bigger than them
mhm,
on
mhm.
a small screen.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just find it really, really fascinating where we are right now. So Political Matter asks big questions about power and about power distribution inside society. Um, Unfortunately for us, because we are quite primitive, these questions will probably be relevant for hundreds of years to come. You know, but for me, the whole digital and the whole, the idea of projection inside the film is what made it relevant, also for young people.
Yeah.
Um,
That's, I mean, what comes to my mind now is, of course, the fact that we have this inborn, by default, conflict, since we are flock animals, and
yeah,
we need the people around us, and when we need the people around us, we need also the leader to steer this group. Otherwise, it would be inefficient.
yeah,
But
yeah,
then there is always this kind of question: what was the first pronomen? Was it me or us?
yeah, yeah,
So there is this process of individualization, which I think also in this movie or is in this dance work or in
hmm,
this, well, I would call it a movie actually, not a dance
mm,
video.
yeah,
Is a kind of one team, the one who is breaking out of the group, and the
yeah,
question of and also kind of drowning in the group and being afraid of losing one's individuality in the group. That
yeah.
conflict.
I mean, there are always questions of affirmation.
Yeah. Yes.
An individual needed the affirmation of the group, but then, we're also being taught to be special and to do,
This is
big
the big,
things.
I think, the big conflict. We are so today so hyper individual that we all buy
Mm.
exactly the same clothes. But the pro,
Ah,
I mean, but the thing is that it must happen by our own private individual decision.
yeah, yeah.
It's so
It
stupid.
is. It is
We,
crazy.
we
Yeah,
make a very kind of individual decision to buy exactly the same things around the world.
yeah,
This has been very, very interesting and also gives, I think, a very good. You spoke about keyhole, and this kind of, if the political matter is the title, is the keyhole that we have been, in a way, glimpsing through. Thank you very much.
yeah. Sure. Thanks for your
I
time.
yeah, I very much hope to meet you live somewhere
Me
around the
too.
world
Me
at some
too.
point.
Yeah.
You are still based in London, are you?
Based in London, yeah, but we're traveling all the time, so
Sure.
the company is touring all the
Yeah, this,
time.
I mean, I checked your website. There's this very interesting collaboration that you have been making with this Brit project. Can you, just to
The
finish
Brit
off,
School, yeah, for sure.
tell me something about that. It's
I, I'm very passionate about
yeah.
working with the young generation because this is how I got into dance.
Hmm.
Without going into long story, I grew up in Jerusalem, where my reality was quite limited, and in a way, my world was opened up by dance and music. And the idea of traveling around the world and getting out of my swamp. You know. Um, and I really think there can be something powerful and life-changing in that. So we're always looking in the company to work with organizations that have the ability to help people see wider possibilities.
Mhm.
The Brit School is an amazing school in London, and here there is an art school that is quite unique, an art school that you get in if you are talented. It's nothing to do with the means and with your background or anything. And I really like that because, of course, that gives opportunity to everyone and to a real talent to come through. And we did this another kind of version and restaging of Political Mother with them. Also used they have a music department, so we use their musicians, and literally these are students that are like 16, 17, 18, something like this. They also have a technical department, and so they basically, in a way, we handed it to them, and they were working on
Okay.
the music, on the dance, and on the technical. They put it on stage. It was really incredible to see young people kind of owning the work and also having their own take for it.
Yeah, yeah.
um
Okay.
so yeah, that was a kind of a beautiful project.
Thank you. I wish you all the best and
Yeah,
a
you
good
too.
autumn.
Yeah, you too, and see you around.